right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining me for a quick moment today. I am going to be sharing about a mindset shift that I made, and it had a massive impact on my life. So, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about what this massive change was in my life because of my mindset shift, then yes, you want to stay tuned. This is the video for you. If you are feeling stuck in life, you are feeling stuck in your relationships, your career, just in general, you're just like, why am I not advancing? This video is for you. So let me introduce myself really quickly because I don't want to assume that you already know me. This is YouTube after all, and there are millions of people who pass through this channel daily, right? So my name is Beth Brown. I am a Christian confidence coach, and I do specialize in my coaching in forgiveness healing and forgiveness coaching. And I am also a professional photographer, so I am an artist. And a lot of times I use with my coaching clients art as one of the tools for their healing. But what I wanted to share today is very practical. It is something, though, we are discouraged from doing. And so this might be why you have started feeling like you're stuck, because you may have stopped doing this. People may have shamed you and made you feel bad for stopping, for continuing to do this. So you've decided to stop doing this. So in fact, actually, there is a phrase in at least American English. I don't know if it's in like British English or other English speaking countries, that's pretty common, that makes this trait, which is what was a impact in, made such a massive impact in my life, changing for the better, right? But there is this phrase, well, it's so negative. It's just a culturally negative phrase. So you're probably like, Beth, what is it? What is it? Tell me. I'm trying to build the suspense a little bit. First starters, though, I want to say this before, in order for this mindset shift that I made to work, I had to do one thing before this mindset shift. And the one thing I had to do before shifting my mindset was become honest with myself. So I was not being honest. I had gone through a very bad physical trauma of rape. And then in an effort to do what a lot of people do, what doesn't kill us only makes us stronger, I decided the best thing to do was try to move on with my life, forget, even forgive as quickly as possible, and just move on with my life. But that backfired too. I ended up with a heartbreak, and I do not recommend anyone survive and go through a traumatic experience and not take a time out, not sit down and heal from it, because then you just end up in a whole big mess, and you make messes even in other people's lives, right? So it becomes unnecessarily complicated. But I was not being honest. I wasn't even in my prayers talking to God about what had happened to me. I wanted to really pretend what had happened to me had not happened. So in order for this mindset shift to work, I had to be honest with myself first. And so that is also going to be key for you in your life. If you want to change your relationships, if you want to become more successful professionally or as a business owner, if you want to have better health, physical health, whatever it is that you're looking for to accomplish, the very first thing that's going to be non-negotiable is to be honest with yourself, right? Because that's where we have to start from a place of honesty. If we're trying to start from a place of denial or a place of lies, then or false beliefs, then everything that we build onto that is going to not take us in the right direction. It's going to take us off sideways. So now let's get really into the thing that really shifted it all for me in my life. So the negative phrase that our society has is this: curiosity killed the cat. Yes, the cat got curious and the cat got hurt. The cat died. That was the end of the cat. It's bad to be curious, right? There's even that children's book, Curious George. What's George doing? He's always getting himself into trouble because he's curious. We're taught from like a very young age. Well, to begin with, at the beginning, it's cute. Parents are like, oh, look at my little baby. Isn't she so cute? Look at how he's looking around. Look at how she's got these big, bright eyes, right? It's adorable. Oh, look, she's pointing at this and wanting to know what that is. Oh, how sweet, how cute. But by the time the kid is like now talking and asking a mile a minute questions, right? There's that phrase, kids ask the darndest questions. And sometimes they really do. You're like, where in the world did you get that question from? How did your brain come up with that, right? So they do kind of ask like some really interesting questions, kids, but it's kind of discouraged. And you know, sometimes when we're going to school, starting in kindergarten, usually by first grade, you know, it's not, unless you had a really amazing teacher, it's not super encouraged, or at least it wasn't back in my day. And even now, right? In education, there's so much that has to get done within the curriculum. And yes, educators are trying to get kids to explore or whatever, but you know, it's kind of like in this controlled little time frame. So it's really discouraged. And as people get older, even in childhood, as children even get a little bit older, by the time they're 7, 8, 9, they've kind of gotten the idea or the feel that maybe asking too many questions might bother my teacher, might bother my parent, my mom or my dad, might even get me teased on the playground, right? So we kind of stop with the asking questions. And then sometimes we get into dating relationships. And depending on who we are dating, that person might be like, you ask too many questions. Why are you so nosy? And so now we've become ashamed and afraid to ask questions. We're thinking like, oh, maybe I'm going to be rejected. Maybe this person isn't going to like me or want to spend time with me or go on another date. Or, you know, oh, now we're married and my husband or my wife is just like, you ask too much. Why are you asking me all these questions? Just trust me. And of course, you know, we do need to trust, right? But, you know, questions can be really discouraged, and we can kind of clam up inside and shut down and just be like, well, you know what, it's just better to keep the peace and everything and not ask so many questions. Is this something that you've gone through? Maybe you have all these questions in your mind, but you're afraid to ask them, right? Maybe, you know, think about times where in school you were afraid to raise your hand and ask a question because it might be silly or considered stupid. There's no stupid, silly questions, right? So what happened to me was I got my curiosity back. I was really struggling with forgiving someone. Very, 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 I was defiant. I was really telling God I did not want to forgive. It was easy for me to forgive. And I've said this many times. It was pretty easy for me to forgive the man who raped me. He didn't mean a whole lot to me. So when someone doesn't mean a whole lot to you, it's kind of easier for you to forgive them. But the man after him who really hurt me when he said, I don't want to be with you, he was very important to me. And that really hurt. And I was pissed and I was devastated. And I really did not want to forgive him. I was really telling God, I mean, I literally was telling God, I don't want to forgive this person. He doesn't deserve it. I don't want to help him. I don't want to this. I don't want to that. It was all what I didn't want to do until the day I got curious. And I started wondering, well, I'm doing all this complaining to God. Well, clearly it's not helping. It's not working. God's not doing anything to change my situation. Complaining's not really getting me far. What about myself? What can I do differently? What can I change? How can I change my attitude? And what would it look like? What would happen if I forgave this person? I literally began becoming curious on how I could change my life by changing my attitude, by being open even to the idea of forgiving. And then I started also thinking, out of all the people that I have ever dated in my entire life, the man who I got into this physical altercation with in my kitchen, right, who raped me, I didn't ask him that many questions. All of my dating life, I had asked men questions. I had observed them. I had tried to figure out, what does he like? I would ask questions of this person, all of the different men that I dated. Not only would I silently observe and study them, like how they reacted, I would actively ask them questions. I would really be curious in getting to know them. But the man who raped me, I got into the situation because I was overworked. I was working nonstop. I was working a full-time job. I was also working on my business. I was going to school. I would literally be working from sunrise till when I went to bed. I would be on the subway and I'd be either studying for the class I was taking, or I would literally pull my laptop out on the train, which is probably not the safest thing to do, but I would pull my laptop on the train and edit. When I was teaching at that time, on my lunch break, I was working at school. When I would go to the college and I would be on break, like on dinner break or just like a 15-minute break, I would be working. I'd be grading papers or editing photos. I was literally there was like no breaks and I was so exhausted, right? And then I just wanted to have fun. And because I was really into this just for myself to have fun, I wasn't really into it to get to know him or any of that. And I didn't really ask him questions and I didn't really observe him. Did I listen to him when he spoke to me? Yes. Did I see red flags? Absolutely. I saw a lot of red flags. I chose to ignore them. I didn't really choose to question them. What might this mean for me, right? And as a result, my lack of curiosity got me into position with someone who I should have never been allowing anywhere in my space, who was dangerous, but it was my lack of curiosity. And then when I was in the place of refusing to forgive someone else for hurting me, I was again not asking the right questions. I was asking like, why didn't he keep his promises? Why didn't he do this? Why, God, aren't you doing that? No, I wasn't really asking curious types of questions. I wasn't curious about what could happen if I actually did things differently, if I made changes with myself. Now, I even ask, even from all of this, I ask even different types of questions. So in order to get a date from me, I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to publicly put that out there and have someone be like, oh, now I know what she's looking for or not looking for, and I'm going to use that and manipulate it. So I don't really want to put my list of questions out. but there are questions. There is like one specific question that I will ask. And if it's not answered properly, I don't think we're ever even going to go on date one. Maybe I would ask it on date one. It would depend on how things all went out. And no, I am not being closed, right? There are certain even questions that we as women and we as men need to ask our partners or our potential partners to find out if they are in alignment with what we want, what we're looking for. Are they going to help us have a peaceful life, or are they going to cause problems and turmoil in our life? There are specific questions that when I am working with my coaching clients now as a coach for boundary setting, here are 5 questions that would be a really good idea. Now, I'm not going to tell. Again, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor. I can suggest and I can guide my clients in the direction that's going to, help them to have loving, safe, peaceful relationships, right? And have their own inner peace not disturbed so much. But they don't have to take my advice, right? But I would say then you're not coachable, right? So don't hire a coach or a mentor if you're not going to be willing to try out the suggestions your coach or mentor is giving you. But there are specific questions that I give my coaching clients when they're setting up their boundaries. And these questions are going to help them filter out the people who don't belong and who do belong in their lives, and where to place them, who qualifies, who doesn't qualify. How are you going to answer these questions, right? So we have to become curious. If we want to have healthy relationships, if we want to even have self-respect, love for ourselves, our relationship with ourselves comes first. We have to really be curious, and we have to really take an assessment about where we're at and think about it and become curious about, where do I want to go? Where do I want my life to be at, right? Become curious about what goals to set for myself or yourself, professionally, personally, relationship-wise, right? Become curious about what it is and then how to get there. What's the plan for getting there? And when I made this shift from not being curious to being curious in a really honest way, it was not always easy, right? Asking myself the hard questions was not always fun. I was not having a picnic, and it's okay. That's part of the process, right? That's part of the process for advancing in our lives. That's part of the process for leveling up our lives, right? We have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, and in being honest with ourselves and having honest conversations with someone else, right? And that's also even a sign that, if you're considering getting into a relationship with someone and you're asking them questions and they're like, I don't want to answer that, I don't want to tell you. Well, that's kind of a red flag that maybe this person might not be in alignment with you, So curiosity is very, very important for leveling up our lives, for being able to live the lives that we want to live, that we deserve to live. And so, yes, if this is resonating with you and you're saying, yes, I would love to get some guidance in this area, I'm not sure what the right questions are to be asking, or what, maybe not right questions, but like what good questions I should be asking someone who I'm thinking about having a relationship with, whether it's a business relationship or a personal relationship. You're like, I don't really know. Let's chat, reach out to me. I'm going to put the link in the description below this video, so you can click that link and we can chat. We can see where you're at, how I can help you, how I can support you in your journey on leveling up your life and enjoying your life happy, healthy, peacefully, right? Confidently, right? These are all things that, you know, are really important, that we really enjoy the quality of our lives, right? So if you're looking for some more support, I'm happy to chat with you, set up a plan with you, see how I can support you with that. So just tap the link and book a time at your convenience. And that's all I wanted to share for today. I will be back tomorrow with some more tips for you. So also be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can stay up to date, so that you can, you know, get all the new information I am going to be continually dropping for the rest of this month daily. All right. So have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you soon. All right. Peace.